Everybody, I got a question posted on one of my videos, I guess it was last week, that I thought I would try to answer for everyone because it's a really interesting topic and it can be hard to know what to do. And it was a question about, do I need a secondary backup battery if I've got the HCT and I want to work remote, even if it's just for a day or two? So I'm going to answer that question for everybody on this video. But first, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jennifer Preston. My husband Michael and I are the OG Happier Campers. We had HC1 number 44 back in 2016, and today we have an HCT. And this channel is really for people who want to learn about the Happier Camper rigs. It's a really cool brand. And as well as, like, are you new to camping, or maybe you're thinking about getting into camping but you're not really sure? Trust me, if Mike and I can do it, you guys can do it. I mean, really, you can do it. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I'm going to give you my most honest answer to this question. Okay, let me preface my response with a couple of points. The first is that I have no deep expertise on the power sources associated with the camper. I know we have a solar panel, we have 2 lithium batteries, and we have an inverter. And I know that I need to be very mindful about thinking through what I'm pulling against that battery. And for us, the constant is the 2 fridges. We've got the fridge and the drawer fridge. Occasional use of lights, occasional use of overhead fan, occasional use of the water pump when I want to wash dishes, occasional use of the fan associated when we're using the heat at night. So I'm thinking about all of those variables, and I'm also thinking about where the camper is parked. Am I in full sun? Am I in a shaded area? Am I sure that the solar panels are clean? I mean, all of those things contribute to this question of whether or not you're going to have power when you need it. Now, I mean, this actually just happened, so I'll tell you what happened to Mike and I because it informs my response to this question. And that is that we pulled into the Yellowstone Grant campground with a fully charged battery, and there's no electric hookups, no shore power access at the Grant campground. In fact, I don't think there is anywhere in Yellowstone. And we were in a slightly shaded area, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, I would have thought we would have had no problem, sustaining and increasing our charge in our battery. And by the end of the second day, our batteries in the camper were dead. It was so frustrating because at that point you're thinking, okay, now I'm basically in a hard shell tent. I don't have any power. Well, is that a big deal? For us at that time, the only real risk was that we had food in the fridge and we were going to have to get some ice, put it into the cooler cube, which we also have as part of our HCT setup. So, we knew we could make sure that we weren't going to lose a lot of the food. But more importantly, we didn't have any plans to be at a campground with a hookup for days. So I knew we were not going to have any access to power inside the rig until we got shore power. And that's something that's important to understand as well. So if you fully drain your batteries in the Happier Campers, I'm sure this is for anybody, but you cannot recharge the battery purely off of solar. So if we had pulled out of Yellowstone and driven, off into the desert, then it wouldn't have mattered. We still would have had a dead battery. We had to get access to a hookup so we could replenish the battery enough that the solar panels could then come in and do their thing. We got really lucky. At Yellowstone, at the Grant, it's like a Grant area, and the Grant campground is inside of that. There's also this like gas station / RV repair place, which is good to know if you're ever at Yellowstone and you need some help. And we just asked them if they would mind if we just plugged into a plug that they had around back where you can fill the air in your tires. They were more than happy for us to do that. And I'll tell you a little secret. Whenever we need to do something like this, sometimes even if we're going in to let people know, we've arrived and, we want to check in, Mike is often the person who goes in for that because he has an English accent and people just really love his accent. And it kind of just it just opens things up for us a little bit more, I would say. A long, long time ago, I got used to these women coming over to me saying, "I love your husband's accent." I'm like, thank you. That's weird, but yeah, thank you. So we were able to leave Yellowstone with a charge, which meant that we got through the next few days, no problem. Now, if I had been working, it would have been catastrophic for us not to have power. So if you are planning on being on the road and you are not going to ever be sure about your access to shore power, I would 100% have a backup battery situation. And I know that, because we just did this, we were charging the Jackery when we were driving. And then if we needed to top it off, I pulled out the solar panels that I've got for the Jackery, and I was able to charge the battery that way. And we were able to run the Starlink and our devices for hours just on the Jackery. And that is 100% what I would be doing if I was working remote. But again, that's me. That's my risk profile. And, one of the things I mentioned to this person was you might want to get the rig, get on the road, try some things out, have a backup plan to get to shore power. You could even try like some kind of local gas station or something. Just ask them, would you mind if I spent 15 minutes just topping up my battery? I'll give you $20, whatever, right? You might want to kind of experiment with your implementation of the HCT and working just to see if you're getting the right kind of configuration around your power usage. And then if you feel like you need it, you can get the Jackery and the solar panel, and I'll link to the stuff that I've got below. I will say that I am really grateful that we got this as part of how we think about camping, because it's really giving me peace of mind when there might be a weather related issue, as we've got this is just a thunder and lightning storm, but obviously we live a place where you have hurricanes, and we used to be up north, and frankly we're more at risk of losing power up north because of nor'easters. In case you did not know, in the French Quarter, all of our power is underground. So we are one of the few places in Louisiana that does not often lose power if there is a hurricane. But just knowing that I've got access to, we lose power here. Well, I can still power up our phone. I'm never going to have that panicky feeling, oh my God, what if we lose power and I lose, slowly watch my power drain on my phone. That's just not going to be an issue for us. Even, and I bought the EcoBreeze AC unit. I'm going to do a video about that for the camper. But Mike and I talked about it. Again, our hurricane season is in hot weather. So if it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity, God help us if we lose power and the AC goes down. In fact, if your AC isn't working, this is what our experience, the response to that by providers here in Louisiana is similar to what we experienced if the oil burner went out in the winter and you had an elderly person in your home in New England. I mean, they take it very, very seriously. But we thought, we could actually take the Jackery, go into, say, our bedroom, close the doors, bring the dogs in with us, and just blast the AC unit, the portable AC unit. It would at least, cut the edge off the heat, keep us safe, keep the dogs okay. And all of that is possible because we've got that backup battery. But it's expensive, right? I mean, this stuff isn't cheap. And I don't know, if the only question, honestly, if I was going to work remote boondocking from my rig, I'd get the Jackery hands down along with the Starlink. But if I was just going to have it as just pure backup, I don't know. I think I might wait a little bit, get my rig, figure out what it is we want to do with it. How often I was actually thinking about being, you have these ideas of how you're going to use your camper, and then the reality is, oh, I guess we don't use it that way or that often that way. And, maybe it's like a cost-benefit analysis. Maybe it's not worth it for you. But anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, post them below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I hope I get to see you out camping soon. Take care.